Thank you for joining me on episode 34 of the Modern Travel Agent Podcast. On this episode, I sit down with Stefany Jones, who's the Director of Retail Affairs for Palladium Hotel Group. We cover the different brands under Palladium Hotel Group, the renovations and projects that are currently working, including the completed ones in Jamaica, the new ones in Cana, and the Grand Palladium Riviera Maya complex. We cover unique selling points and new experiences for clients. Whether you're an agent that sells Palladium or you're kind of just becoming familiar with it, it's a great episode. I hope you enjoy. Stefany, thank you so much for joining me on the Modern Travel Agent Podcast.
Hello, Chris. How are you today? Thank you so much for having me.
I'm doing great. This is now the third time that you joined me on the podcast. It's a pleasure to have you back. The first time you were with Daniela and we kind of discussed everything about Palladium Hotel Group weddings. The previous time we covered a lot of sort of the new renovations and projects that Palladium Hotel Group was working on with the hotel. So I'm excited for us to get some more updates on how those projects have been going. And I know some of them have been completed. And, before we get in kind of to all those details, I was hoping that maybe you could share a little bit of an overview about Palladium Hotel Group and the brands before we get into all the unique selling points and the great experiences that y'all have, just sort of like a big picture of some of the properties and brands.
Of course. So thank you so much for your time today. So just a couple of things. We are family owned, Palladium Hotel Group. We are based out of Ibiza, Spain, and we are owned by the Matutes family. And they have over 50 years of experience in the hospitality industry. We have hotels in 6 different countries, one of which is Mexico, the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Brazil, Spain, and Italy. And we are the 7th largest Spanish hotel company in the world. So, and we're growing and growing and growing, always adding more. So, which is really good. And then based on our brands, actually, we have couple of different brands just to go into. We have the 3 main hotel brands. I'm talking about just the Americas, which would be just basically the DR, Mexico, and Jamaica, not Brazil, just because that doesn't really fall under me. But so we have our TRS brand. It used to be called the Royal Suites, and they converted a couple of years ago to TRS. That is our adults only hotel brand, high-end, all-inclusive. And we have 24/7 butler service, personalized. You can even do a pre-check-in or even upon arrival, you can ask for specific alcohols in the room or specific sodas, et cetera. Say you only like to have your Diet Cokes or your Cokes in the room, your Sprite, and that's it, et cetera. They can do all of that. It's private and tranquil and try to really give you that top-notch service to compete with some of our other competitors of that same level. We have 4 of those in the Americas. It's TRS Coral, also known as Coral, in the Costa Mujeres complex, which is the area north of Cancun. And then we have TRS Yucatan in the Riviera Maya. It's about an hour and a half from the airport. And we have a whole complex down there with some of our other resorts. We have TRS Turquesa, which is in the Dominican Republic in Punta Cana in the Bávaro area. And then we have TRS Cap Cana, which I know you know very, very well. And I think you have the same affinity for that property as I do. It's 115 rooms. So it's our small boutique resort. It sits in a marina in Cap Cana, which is really, really pretty. And then you have our Grand Palladium brands. And of that, we have a subset called Family Selection, which I'll talk about in just a moment. So the Grand Palladium brand is really, truly, I call it our something for everyone brand. Because you can do girlfriends or guys getaways, weddings, extended families, family reunions, group travel. We do a ton of weddings at all of these complexes as well. And we have complexes for the Grand Palladiums in pretty much every one of those destinations. So we have, we have 2 in Jamaica. It's about 30 minutes from the airport, going towards Negril. Then we have the 3 next to Turquesa in Punta Cana. Then we have 1 next to TRS Coral. And then we have 3 in Riviera Maya next to TRS Yucatan. And then we also have Grand Palladium Vallarta, which is about 45 minutes north of the Puerto Vallarta airport up in Nayarit. So we have a good selection there. And then within Vallarta, as well as Costa Mujeres, and now coming soon to Riviera Maya, in Cantona, Grand Palladium Cantona, we have what we call a hotel within a hotel called Family Selection. Think of this as the equivalent of the butler service, personalized service that we have with the adults only TRS brand, but this is actually for families. And what's really cool is it has its own family check-in, its own amenities within the rooms, their own facilities. And there's 60 different amenities within this brand just for the families. And the cool, really, this is what I think is the biggest selling point, is that now for 2023, but also then going into 2024, actually, let me just focus on 2024 since we only have a month and a half, give or take. So coming for 2024, all of those resorts, the family selection, the three of them at Cantona, Vallarta, and in Costa Mujeres, all have 2 children under 17 free when staying with 2 adults. You know this industry very well. A lot of times you'll see 2 kids or 1 child under 12. But the fact that we are giving under 17 free and existing bedding and everything, this is a really big asset for us. So we're really excited to have this in our arsenal, for lack of a better word. And then just 2 other brands just quickly to touch upon. I don't want to go too far. Forgive me if I've gone off the rails. I get very excited talking about all of our resorts. But in Costa Mujeres, we also have the Rafa Nadal Tennis Center, which is a true professional training center on clay courts for those tennis aficionados that want to go and really have a really immersive specialty training. And that is an additional cost, but that's because it is one of the only ones in the Americas. Rafa Nadal has partnered with the Matutes family to have this. So we're really excited about this. And then we have, of course, our equivalent of what everybody else has, our big, huge Zentropia wellness spa and, facilities, focus on spa and wellness. Those exist in pretty much every one of our complexes. So anytime somebody's traveling, they have their selection of where they can go and also relax even more and get massages and have the hydrotherapy, et cetera. So that's the quick rundown on the brands.
I love it. Yeah. And I've had the pleasure of seeing all 4 TRS properties. I think that they're all beautiful sort of in a unique way. I think obviously the TRS Coral is Playa Mujeres is maybe a newer destination. I think it's a lot of builds, a lot of things going up there. It's, not too far from Cancun, so you can still get into town if you want to do all the excursions and go out in sort of the Cancun hotel zone and get crazy. It's not too far of a trip, but it's nice in that the location puts it on a beautiful beach where it's almost kind of protected by Isla Mujeres so that you don't run into the same types of sort of seaweed or sargassum issues that you do along the Riviera Maya. So I think that's a property that we sell great for, whether it's couples or singles. It's kind of that nice of like sort of upscale fun, but it can also be romantic. And it's certainly one of our favorite hotels to sell in the Cancun Riviera Maya area. Of course, I got the opportunity to stay at the TRS Yucatan this past year and loved that property. I think that's obviously a very different type of hotel.
Favorite.
Yeah, it's super different, right, than the Coral, which of course is one of the beautiful things about sort of the TRS hotels is that it's not the same cookie cutter hotel over and over again. You have very sort of unique properties, and that's definitely sort of the Riviera Maya experience. It's more jungle. They have like the lagoon and lake that you can kind of walk over and it sets a very different type of sort of jungle experience. And then of course the Cap Cana is a beautiful hotel. It's a very sort of boutique property. Definitely different than it's more of an intimate feel, but almost super new. All of it is very I'll say refined, right? The materials they use to build it, it's you can tell it's a very, very new property. It looks that way too, really refined. And then of course the TRS Turquesa right there next to the Grand Palladium complex there, which of course that's another one of the key selling points of a lot of TRS is the access to the neighboring complex, all the dining, all the restaurant options and stuff like that. So
I just came back from there on Sunday.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I love the Dominican Republic. That's always, obviously, living now in Cabo, Mexico has a place in my heart, but the Dominican Republic has quickly become, I think, probably my favorite destination. I just spent a week there, and it's an incredible trip every time I go. So that's Dominican Republic is obviously one of our favorite destinations. So I'm glad that you were able to kind of give the full view of sort of the different brands. TRS being the adult only, sort of Grand Palladium, the family friendly, and then the family selection being the resort inside of a resort type of like exclusive TRS upper level luxury for families, right? And that 2 children under 17 staying for free, legitimately staying for free, not like the rates are baked in and it's like legitimately, that's such a great value. And I think that a lot of travel agents, when they're talking with clients, they're always trying to find ways to communicate like value. And that's a tricky thing that I think agents sometimes have, of like, how do I get my clients to understand what makes this property unique? And so that's why I think unique selling points are always such a great discussion. And I think one great thing about Palladium Hotel Group is that the properties, a lot of them have such nice sort of unique selling points that separate them and distinguish them. And so I was hoping that you could share a little bit about some of the new unique selling points and the things that have been in the works.
Well, I think you hit so much of it on the head. In fact, you've heard me say this before, just to echo what you said, that one of the things, I come from the tour operator segment for the last 20 years. And what I love about Palladium is the fact that not even just every complex, but every resort has a sense of place and a sense of uniqueness from the next door neighbor, not even just within our complex, but outside of there. You'll see the rooms are decorated differently, even within the complexes. And with that, actually, just to use that as a segue, in the Riviera Maya complex, as mentioned, we have 3 Grand Palladiums and the TRS Yucatan. But Grand Palladium Cantona, that's Cantona with a K, is closed this year. And the reason why is it's undergoing a $49 million renovation. So in that, they're also taking out a bunch of rooms and sectioning them off as the family selection, as mentioned. And that will open up the end of this year. That's going to give us the advantage over some of our competition, because the family selection in Puerto Vallarta and especially in Costa Mujeres has been so successful. Even when in Costa Mujeres, when we initially opened it, it was just one building. They've now actually taken, doubled the actual inventory for those categories. So it's really, really been very successful. And eventually down the road, they want to add that to Jamaica, and we already have it in Vallarta. So, and eventually down the road also to Punta Cana. And then we also have in Jamaica, the Grand Palladium Jamaica just underwent a huge renovation last year. So we opened that back up in January of this year, and just Grand Palladium Jamaica, they gutted everything, brand spanking new within the rooms. And what they actually did is some of the rooms that face the ocean on the right side of the property, if you're looking at the ocean, they all added in, on those buildings, they added in private plunge pools outside the rooms. So they're absolutely beautiful. So I definitely encourage everybody to take a chance and go visit the property. It's something special. Jamaica holds a very, very special place in my heart. And it's true to this day. It's one of my favorite places in the world. And I've traveled a lot. And then just a couple of quick things. Here's some, we have the $1,500 resort credit that we have at all of our properties. It's a 4-night minimum. You get a bunch of coupons that can be used towards romantic dinners, towards your spa, etc. And then just another little fun fact that I like is that TRS Corral, that was featured on Love is Blind for any of the Bravo lovers out there, the Bravo TV lovers, I should say. And that was filmed there. And also Family Karma was filmed just last year. And then we also had at Grand Palladium Lady Hamilton recently, we had the show Married at First Sight was also filmed there. And in that Jamaica complex, for again, back to any of the Bravo TV fans out there, we also had, in the last couple of years, the Real Housewives of Atlanta also visited our Jamaica property. And we've had a couple of other ones, but there's a couple of things in the works also with some of our other resorts where, wink, wink, some of these similar types of shows, if not those of the same name, have been or will be filmed. they usually tend to broadcast about a year after filming. So it's kind of some fun stuff. So, and then just to go into more unique experiences, just to sort of circle back, you had mentioned in Riviera Maya about the bridges that go over the lakes, et cetera. But within that complex, between the lobby of TRS Yucatan and Grand Palladium White Sand, there's this beautiful cenote. And it's a little hidden gem within that complex. And the weddings team tends to do private dinners set up there, where you could do an experience with a Mayan shaman comes and does a beautiful ceremony, blessing you and whatnot. And then you have the meal. The pricing is all different because there's such a huge selection of different components that you can choose. So it's an a la carte depending on the package. And that's additional on top of the all-inclusive. And then a couple of other really fun items that we also have within our, as I mentioned earlier, our arsenal, just to sort of differentiate Palladium, is we also have my favorite, and I've seen it a couple of times recently, at now all the complexes that we have this. It's called Chic Cabaret. That's CHIC. And it really, truly is something that sets us apart versus the competition. It's not just your typical, stage show where you just show up outside the theater and, you're watching the Michael Jackson impersonator or the Elvis impersonator. This is a additional cost, but it's considered a service fee. And the reason why is it's a 3-hour, 5-course private meal with this incredible show that you're going to see. I joke and I say it's a feast for not just the stomach, but it's the eyes and the ears as well. There's singers. They have acrobats that come down from the ceiling and they're doing the rope swinging and all these really risque, fun clothing and exciting show cabaret type, events within there. And the food is just phenomenal. I always say, come hungry and come thirsty, because the food and the drinks just keep coming. And that, as I mentioned, that does have an additional cost. And I just have hot off the press the updated pricing. TRS clients, as well as the family selection adults, will have access to that for $50 per adult. And then Grand Palladium, that pricing is $100, which actually is coming down by about $35 per person. And this is strictly adults. Remember, this is not for children to see. And then external folks can also come. So if somebody is staying at one of our neighboring properties, then you can come onto the complex and pay the fee of about $135, so et cetera. And then just 2 other new things that are launching and are just being launched are something called Bravo, which is a sort of the equivalent of the family type show for everybody. And within one of the resorts within, right now it's in Riviera Maya, or excuse me, it's coming in Riviera Maya. It's a brand spanking new concept. It'll be live entertainment and sort of a more immersive show. And that should be launching at some point, maybe in Q1 in the Riviera Maya complex. And then it's so new that I don't even have all the details yet, but it's coming. And then last but not least is something really fun. I've seen this all over the internet and then other people posting it in different, hotels in Manhattan. It's called Le Petit Chef. And what this is it's an animated experience where the filming happens on the table and you watch a little chef come out and cook the meal on the what would be the screen, which is the table. So it comes onto your plate and drags like a big giant eggplant or whatnot, and a very French oriented, meal. And then the meal is designed around this very immersive experience. It's supposed to be really fun. And I'm hoping to see it in 2 weeks when I go down to Cancun. So that's something. Yeah. So that also incurs additional costs, but those last 2 things, and these are brand new within our Riviera Maya and Costa Mujeres complexes. So
that's so cool. The all-inclusive experience offered now compared to 10 years ago is not the same, right? Clients have larger expectations. They want more. They've seen more. I think also social media has kind of made it has made travel more accessible and sort of opened it up. And I think that creates a degree of competition between a lot of great products to say like, okay, how are you different? How do you differentiate? How do you give somebody something unique that they can then tell their friends and talk about and share? And I think that that's such a cool thing because I have to be honest, I love all-inclusive properties, right? I love, I do. But one of the tricky things is entertainment. Entertainment at some of the all-inclusive properties. I mean, you mentioned the Michael Jackson impersonation. I think that's a good example. It's true. It's just like, I think maybe
it's also still one of my favorite things. I have to say, but
it's the first time that you go, I feel like, once you've been to you've seen it enough times now that it's like, okay, it's you've seen the same thing. And that was one thing that I really enjoyed about Chic. I had the opportunity to go in the Dominican Republic. I've seen in TRS, the Riviera Maya, I had a friend who went at the TRS Coral and she loved it. And I think one of the things is the people who are performing there are not your standard entertainers. I mean, these are people that are like next level musicians, incredible voices, incredible dancers. And I think that for people who are looking for something that's an elevated experience, that's not sort of just the same cookie cutter Monday through Friday type of entertainment, which don't get me wrong, that's fine too if you just want to sort of chill out and relax and have an hour or 30 minutes before dinner and you're kind of just hanging out for drinks. Having it as a backdrop is good, but there is something to be said for an entertainment and a dining experience that is the evening, that is what you're going to do. You're going to go and you're going to be treated to a unique experience. And so I love not only that y'all have that and that y'all are making it more accessible to the Grand Palladium guests by lowering the price and making it less expensive and therefore opening that up to them and making it easier to do that, but also bringing in new types of experiences and trying new things because you really never know what the guests are going to like or what they want. And I like that y'all are doing different things with the Bravo and with the La Petite Chef because I think that's a cool thing. And travel is all about unique experiences. And so I love that y'all are doing that. And then I just have to say it real quick because you mentioned it. I think one thing that I love too, that the marketing that y'all are doing with having the reality TV shows, that's such a cool thing because this is now coming up on almost my 14 years in the industry. And when I first got into the industry, one of the things was The Bachelor. And I had clients reach out to me because they saw a hotel at The Bachelor and they wanted to do that. And I think that it makes our jobs also as agents and seller easier in that clients come to us with something that they saw that they want. And that makes also the process a lot easier as opposed to like, well, maybe I want to go to Hawaii or Antigua or the Caribbean or Mexico or whatever. It's like, I saw this hotel on this show. It looks beautiful. That's where I want to go. I think that's also super cool and smart. And that's a cool thing for y'all to be doing. So.
Thank you. Yes. I mean, it's a time for innovation, which is actually one of our core values. So, I hate saying this because it's my last name, but you have to keep up with the Joneses. And it's something that Palladium has taken very seriously, especially after the pandemic. The one thing that the pandemic taught us is everybody has to be nimble. And now out of the pandemic, so many brand new, amazing hotels have come to fruition. Like you said, the hotels that were all inclusive 10 years ago, and now they're so incredibly different and dynamic. You have resorts that are, AAA 5 diamond experiences with dining within them. So, and we've actually just recently received a ton of awards within the Travi Awards and a couple of other awards. So, we're looking to just keep going. And now hot off the press, I just read it about an hour or two ago, something that my boss posted about working towards sustainability and Nat Geo is partnering with us on some things and, we're getting us accredited and whatnot. So, sustainability is something that the company is also taking seriously. We have to work on that footprint. So there's a lot of different things that we have in our pipeline and we have land, wink, wink, and other places. So, or working on and closing those. So expansion is going to be, it's not just a literal expansion in the sense of, changing our footprint across the world, but also just what the all-inclusive options that we can offer are, further enhancing our training of our staff, and We have really wonderful new executive chefs on the resort. So always tweaking our menus and whatnot. So just to really enhance that experience and make it more personalized.
I love it. That's exciting. That's exciting.
Thank you.
I know that we kind of, already touched on the evergreen promotion of the family selection, including 2 children under 17 for free when staying with 2 adults. We're coming up on, Black Friday / Thanksgiving. So
Yes.
Are there any promotions that agents should know about that can help them sort of make their clients aware of what a great time it is to book their vacation?
Yes, we have coming, actually, today is the 17th, launching Monday. We have a nice long booking window on our promotes, not just Friday to Monday of next week. So the 20th through the 30th for travel straight through to January 1, 2025. Every resort will have extremely aggressive pricing discounts. We have our November sale right now, but this will be put on hold because of the Black Friday. So you can look and see probably next week, higher discounts, probably anywhere from 5 to 10% more than what we actually have in the market right now. Some resorts, some date periods are even more aggressive, just to try to get some extra business, going into the election year and whatnot. So coming soon to a Monday near you. So please watch out for that. And all the tour operators are getting the exact same offers. And that, like I said, those are very aggressive price points. Some resorts have up to 68% discounts in the market, depending on the resort. And again, just keeping an eye on the, like you said, the $1,500, that also is combinable with these rates. The kids free, as mentioned, are combinable with these rates. So we're looking to really have a very successful Cyber Monday promotional, 10 days.
That's so awesome. I was actually just looking earlier this week at, I think, ALGV has just a standard like Black Friday, just basically Mexico, Caribbean wide. I think it's up to $300 off of a package too. So I think there's a lot of promotions that make it a great time for agents to get in touch with their clients and kind of make them aware. I saw a 4-night package in April for land only to the TRS Cap Cana. It was like $1,200 for 2 adults, including round trip transfers. Exactly. TRS Yucatan, I think, was about $1,500 for 2 adults. I mean, these are incredible properties with just incredible rates, and that's just run of the mill Black Friday. That's not even, we haven't even hit the promotion next week. Yeah. So I think, for agents, that's something for them to keep an eye out on. That this is a great time to also to close out the year strong. Yes. I know a lot of people are trying to hit numbers and make sure that they hit that next tier with their preferred vendors or whatever it is. So I think that that's a great time for email newsletters, for social media stuff. So I appreciate you sharing about the promos and everything going on. Now we're this seasoned vets. This is now our 3rd episode that we've completed, and it's always a pleasure to have you on and to share about Palladium Hotel Group. At Modern, we're big believers in Palladium Hotel Group and everything that y'all do, and it's always great to sit down and talk and be able to share with our audience, because as an agent who maybe is somewhat familiar with Palladium Hotel Group, or maybe they're not familiar and it's brand new to them, what can they do to become better educated and to learn a little bit about the brand? Where should they be going to learn more?
So a couple of places for that. We do have now 5 different BDMs across the United States, which I can send you the most recent PDF of that. And, you or Tim or whomever can send it out to the community there under the Modern umbrella. And then we do have, for when folks start to sell, we do have something called Palladium Connect, which is our reward system, where agents are, when you book something, you can go within 90 days within 90 days of being booked and register your bookings. And the more you register and whatnot, you can also take classes within there to learn more about our product. And the more you do study, then the more money you can also earn. But just in second to that, our BDMs are always out in the field, and, hitting all the big shows and whatnot. And we, do some webinars with you throughout the year that some of the BDMs will do. So, and of course, they could always reach out to myself if one of the BDMs are not available with that, any sort of question.
I know that y'all just added a newbie to your team as a BDM.
Yes.
She was, with the Dominican Republic Tourism Board, and she's always been incredible with them. She's always done a phenomenal job when we've worked with her, and I know she's going to do a great job for y'all at Palladium. Yes. So that's a big pickup because she's a special person too, and I will include in the show notes all the contact information for the BDMs that you send over to me, as well as the links with relevant things so that agents can get in touch and learn more about Palladium Hotel Group and to show our clients the beauty of Mexico and the Caribbean and the wonderful things that y'all are doing at Palladium Hotel Group.
Thank you so much, Chris. It really was my pleasure. So I always look forward to talking to you, and I look forward to doing it again. I'm sure we'll do more of these in 2024. So.
Yeah, they're coming. They're coming. Thank you so much, Stefany. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Take good care.